Hi everyone, my name is Grace Chang and I'm an attorney here at Tsang and Associates. Today we're going to do a reaction video to the video entitled EB-1A for Engineer Approved After 2 Weeks. It was a really fun case and so I'm excited to share this with all of you guys. Let's get to it.
This case sets a new personal record for our firm. 2 weeks of working on it, filing it, no RFE, immediate approval. And it was a very difficult case too. A staff engineer at a startup getting his EB-1A green card for the entire family. I'm gonna walk you through the play-by-play on how we did it. Let's go.
Yeah, about the 2 weeks, the client had an older child who was about to turn 21. And, in order to have his child get the green card with him, we had to research whether or not we could file the case in time and what's the best strategy to make sure that she falls under CSPA, which stands for Child Status Protection Act. And we wanted to make sure that we did everything right so that his elder child can also apply for the green card with him. Now, the difficulty is that this is an EB-1A, which is one of the hardest case types, but we had to do this and it turned out in 2 weeks in order to file before his child's 21st birthday. So that was very difficult.
So our client was an engineer working at a startup, dealing with things like machine learning and automatic driving, things of that nature. It's a pretty big name startup, but he was only there for a month. Prior to joining this startup, he worked at one of those big companies, Microsoft, Apple, Intel, Oracle, things like that. He worked there for like 15 years. As a staff engineer, rising up in the ranks, and so he oversaw a lot of products, and he had a lot of patents under his name. But how do you prove you're extraordinary? You're just one small engineer, part of this giant machine that's part of the S&P 500. What makes you so special that you deserve a green card?
We had done some research in this field, in machine learning and in AI. It was coming up, and not just limited to his current company, which was like in automated driving, but in all different industries. And we came up with all these different drafts of different ideas. Well, he could be doing this, he could be doing that. We did research to see what organizations, what potential companies might need his expertise. And I remember that was really fun because we got to learn too, and to be able to present that to the client and work on that together.
He played a leading and critical role at a distinguished organization. Well, is he leading and critical? He is an engineer, he's staff engineer, he's a principal engineer, but that's still not C-level, right? That's not chief operating officer. That's not chief executive officer, right? That's not even the vice president, right? That's not general manager. It's not these top level positions. It's a couple tiers underneath that. But we made the argument that being a principal engineer is more it's like the head of all the technology. Once you go above that, then you're managing the business and then you're stepping away from the technology. So being the principal engineer, being the staff engineer, you're the closest to the invention, you're leading the team, you're like the lead scientists of these major healthcare companies, but you're not dealing with the finance and the insurance.
He told us what his role was, so we kind of did like an interview. And then we also noticed, hey, your name's on a lot of these patents. Your name would not be on the patent if you didn't play a really important role in coming up with this technology. And so we were able to see, how were the teams organized, what was your role, what was the role of your team members. This client was in his field for many, many years. And so we're relying on him, like what does it mean to have leading a critical role in your industry, in your company? And then once we did our analysis, we're like, okay, this is the best we can approach.
We couldn't get any recommendations from his company at the startup or at the previous companies because it was highly sensitive and highly classified, and he is a national treasure, arguably, for those companies overseas. So if he comes to the US and he switched to a competitor, that would be a bad news. We had to prepare everything, we had to tread very lightly. He was able to get a few recommendations from previous bosses and colleagues that worked at other big companies now to attest to his contributions, but we couldn't get any direct evidence from his immediate supervisors on what he's working on. Again, all NDA, all classified, so we couldn't give a lot of those key information, but in the end, we proved that he was extraordinary, we proved what he's going to do, we proved that he is truly important. Multiple teams working together, creating this packet of beautiful, beautiful submission, sent it out, no RFE, case was immediately approved, the whole family got a green card. So celebrating this story with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.
We had to be careful because he did work for a fairly large corporation. I mean, you're dealing with patents. These are not individual patents, right? These are patents filed on behalf of an entity of the company. So you have to be careful not to tread on trade secrets, not to disclose information that would compromise the company or compromise the client in any way. We had to play up how important he was, how he made an original contribution to the field. But when we got it, we were so excited. We were sharing the news, we were high-fiving each other. And when we told the client who was thrilled. And so yeah, just made us proud that we were able to carry through on our promise.